Hey everybody, how's it going today? It's your boy Loomis, and we are back at it again, bro, with another Wizard101 YouTube video. And I know it's been a while since I uploaded. I apologize for that. I know it's surprising that I'm uploading for once, and I know y'all been waiting for this for a long time, so thank you. Thank you, I appreciate it. Y'all are very kind. You're too kind, okay? Okay. Anyway, the reason I decided to make a video today is, as I'm sure most of you know by now already, Wizard101 released a pretty big update regarding some of the new max level gear for raids and Aeon gear. And also, they made a bunch of new changes to PvP, more specifically the Rochambeau spells that a lot of people used to rely on. And it's going to change up quite a bit for both the gear and PvP. So without further ado, let's get right into it, bro. We got a lot to cover right now. But real quick, before we dive in, y'all, I do want to say, please go follow me on Twitch, man. I've been so much more active on Twitch lately. I've just been having a lot of fun streaming, and I appreciate every single one of you who's been tuning into my live streams. For real, it means a lot, so thank you guys. I am so close to getting Twitch affiliate, man. It feels so good. I just need 3 of you beautiful, lovely people who are watching this right now to head on over to Twitch. The link is in the description, and drop me a follow, man. Alright, now let's get right into it, y'all. Alright, so the first thing I'm going to be covering regarding the new gear update is going to be the raid gear. I'm sure y'all have noticed I've been streaming a lot of raids lately, so I figured why not start with covering the raid gear. So head on over to your guild house, go on over to your Battlecrafter, and first thing you're going to notice is all the new pages. There's 32 pages of gear now, right? And as soon as you get there, you're going to notice for the hats, the robes, the boots, there's not much different. But what you are going to notice about the wands, the thames, amulets, and rings, bro, is there's a lot more versions of each type of ring, wand, a thame, all that stuff, bro. So let's use balance for an example. Since I'm a max balance, you have the one you're already familiar with, which is the nullities balance ring. You also have the void balance ring, of course. And what you're going to notice is there's other versions of each type for nullity and void. So for nullity, for example, you're going to have the harmonic, which was not there before. That's balance and death mixing, which is very interesting, bro. It's going to open up a lot of options for balance wizards in PvP and both PvE. But not just for balance, it's for every single school. It's not just the nullity that has these versions. You're going to have all these different types of new versions for the void gear as well. So you have the void balance ring, and here's the void harmonic, and I think there's one more for, yes, the stable for balance. And like I said earlier, it's not just balance. Like, we have all these for different schools: the myth, the storm, the fire, all that stuff, bro. So I highly recommend you check out your guild house Battlecrafter and you look at this stuff for yourself. We have a lot of new interesting combinations that are mixing together. And honestly, what that tells me, y'all, is they're really trying to push the whole dual schooling meta on us Wiz players. And I can understand why. Like, dual schooling has been out for quite some time now, or it's a concept that most people who have played the game recently are more familiar with. Ever since Novus came out, really, it's been a concept that people have been moving towards, is dual schooling. But now we have way more options for dual schooling, which I think is really cool. So yeah, definitely check out your new PvP crafter gear as soon as you can, y'all. I recommend it. Also, if you're not interested in the raid gear, or you don't like raiding, or you don't have a guild to raid with, whatever your reason is for not wanting raid gear, what you can do is you can pop on over to Novus and you can head on down to Luis Guerrero Altu. I'm not even gonna try to pronounce that, bro. You can head on over to the Monkey Man, okay? You can head on over to this guy, the Monkey Man Gearcrafter, and you can go ahead and take a look at what he has. So right off the bat, just like with the Raid Crafter, you're going to notice all these extra pages. They're now 30 pages. And just like with the Raid Crafter, again, you're going to notice that for the hat, the robe, and the boots, not much different. But what is different is the wands, the thames, necklaces, rings, and also the decks, which is something I forgot to cover about the raid gear. And basically, it's the same rundown here. You're going to have a lot more different combinations. You're going to have the stuff you're already familiar with, like for example the abstract Aeon boots for balance. But pop on over to the sections where there's new stuff, and you're gonna notice a lot more different things, bro. Something you're already familiar with, the Aeon Sword for balance, the abstract Aeon Sword. But go down a little bit, you're gonna notice the esoteric Aeon Sword, which is something new. Gives myth and storm damage, which is something I've never seen mixed before. So that's gonna be very interesting for both PvE and PvP once again. And once again, just like with the raid gear, you have these new versions for both different types. So for Aeon gear, you have the esoteric version. Also, you can pop over to the next page. You also have it for the eternal gear, if you're more into the eternal gear rather than the Aeon stuff. But basically, there's a lot of cool new different school combinations that they're adding. So I don't even have to start by telling y'all this is really going to switch up the meta for PvP, also PvE as well, but mostly for PvP because people are going to be running all sorts of different combinations of gear that we've never seen before. Like, I feel like PvP is just going to be so much more unique now because of this whole update, and it's something I'm very excited about. If you guys want a much more in-depth, thorough explanation of all the gear updates, be sure to check out Gume's video. He just dropped a video regarding this certain subject, so be sure to go over, check out his channel as soon as you're done watching this. And regarding PvP, y'all, I know it's been a while since I've streamed some PvP. I apologize for that. I'm still trying to get all the new gear that I need for it. Just being completely honest, I took a break from it. I've been a lot more into raids and PvE stuff lately, but I do want to get back into PvP. So right now I'm just grinding away, trying to get all the gear that I need so I can bring you guys some more awesome PvP content. I appreciate everyone who's sticking around, so please just bear with me. And there will be PvP content soon, I promise. Speaking of PvP content, a lot happened regarding the PvP front for this game. Mostly regarding the Rochambeau spells, and the main schools that have been affected by this, from what I can tell, have been Storm, Life, and Fire. But basically every school has gotten some kind of change. Basically the main differences for the schools, other than the schools I just previously listed, are the spell pass for certain spells. I'm going to go ahead and put some images up on screen for you guys so you can see them for yourself. Basically, the bottom pass for a lot of these spells have been changed in a certain way. So Skeletal Pirate, for example, the bottom path of it now clears 2 heal over times on your opponent, and it also gives a tower shield, and I can see that being a very big improvement for death. But regarding the schools that have had the biggest changes, which is Storm, Life, and Fire, as I previously mentioned, if you guys want a very thorough, in-depth explanation of this update, be sure to check out Awesome the Sauce's video that he just released on this subject. But to give you guys a basic rundown, basically, Fire and Storm got a pretty decent buff, while Life kind of got nerfed a little bit, which a lot of people like, because a lot of people have the general consensus that Life was in a major need for a nerf, and Storm was in a major need for a buff. Biggest thing you're going to notice with Storm is spells like Dark and Stormy and Berry Surprise now have protected heals, and that's pretty huge, honestly. It's so important because a lot of the Rochambeau spells, like for example Jin's Vexation, Contagion, things like that, they used to ignore the protection, but now they no longer do. And basically they're compensating for that with the fact that they're upgrading the spell pass for spells like I mentioned previously. They're trying to make each spell more powerful in itself rather than having to rely on Rochambeau spells in order to achieve the certain effect you're going for in a PvP match. The main thing to point out with the Fire School, especially if you're a Fire Wizard who does PvP, is overtimes are going to be much more applicable in a PvP match than they used to be. And regarding the last school, the most important thing to note basically is some spells got a slight health increase, but they got a damage decrease. Spells like Caterpillar and Wings of Fate, they have a slight heal buff now, and just like with other spells, the heal over times are no longer protected, so just keep that in mind. Also, another big thing regarding the PvP update is you can no longer craft the ramp treasure cards. So for example, go into the arena, try to craft, for example, let's say Delusion. It is no longer there, bro. It is no longer there. And if you thought you can get around this by going to your guild house and going to the PvP crafter there, I'm sorry, but no, you cannot, because it is the same. For example, Delusion, again, it is no longer there, bro. So you cannot get around it by crafting it through your guild house PvP crafter, unfortunately. And I'm honestly pretty surprised they did that, y'all, because that's going to affect raids, especially the people who fight the melee speeder. You basically have to do the triple feint strat now to kill Millia. Like, you can't use Delusion to get rid of that Try-Dispel that it casts on you in round 3 of the fight. So yeah, you basically have to do the triple feint strat if you're killing Millispeeder in raids now. So I hope that gives you guys some insight on the PvP updates. I know I probably didn't do the best job of explaining it, but I'm still trying to get used to the meta myself and all the new changes. So be sure to check out other sources if you still have questions or concerns about all the new updates. And last but not least, y'all, I want to go over some of the more like miscellaneous updates. The biggest things were the gear and the PvP changes for sure, but there's also a ton of new stuff coming. There's going to be a ton of new gear, new outfits, that kind of thing coming. I'll put a picture up on screen for you guys so you can kind of get a feel for it. Go ahead and pause the video, get a good look at it. Also, something worth mentioning is there's going to be a new Novus World Pack. So just like there's packs for Chrysalis, Dragonspire, and Lemuria, there's going to be a Novus World Pack that's coming out, which is something I'm very excited about. There's going to be a lot of new gear and a lot of new stuff coming out that you can get from Novus without having to farm for it. So that's definitely a plus. And also, the new Scroll of Fortune rewards have been leaked. If you guys follow the Atmoplex on Twitter, he released a little video on it, so be sure to check that out as soon as you're done watching this. There's a lot of cool new rewards, so you guys are going to want to get a sneak peek at it. So that's going to do it for today's video, guys. I know we covered a wide array of subjects. There was a massive update just last night. It affected a lot of the endgame gear, also the raid gear. It also really affected PvP, and there were a lot of miscellaneous updates that came out, such as new outfits, new gear coming, new Scroll of Fortune updates, things like that. I'm going to link my sources down in the description below, the videos where I got most of my information from. Shout out to all those YouTubers who made those videos on them. You guys did an excellent job. Provided a lot of insight for people like me and people who still weren't completely familiar with all the updates, so thank you again. If you guys enjoyed this video, be sure to drop a like, drop a sub if you haven't already. Like I said at the beginning, please go follow me on Twitch. It would mean a lot. And as always, it's your boy Loomis. Thanks for tuning in. You can go ahead and tune out now. Peace.